Welcome traders, I'm Samanta, and today I'm spilling the beans on the ultimate MACD strategy and then using it in trades. No more waiting, let's jump right in. The MACD or Moving Average Convergence Divergence is a straightforward tool used by traders. It helps to spot trends by showing how two moving averages interact with each other. Let's begin by applying it to our chart. Head to the indicator section, type in MACD, and select the top option. Before diving in, let's understand how the MACD operates. The MACD consists of four components. Initially, we observe two lines, the MACD line and the signal line. It's crucial to differentiate between them. The MACD line is swift and responsive to price changes, serving as the primary focus on the MACD indicator. In contrast, the signal line responds more gradually to price changes, providing a smoother representation. Moving on, there is the histogram, which displays the gap between the MACD line and the signal line. If the line crosses above the signal line, the histogram goes green. If it crosses below, it turns red. The width of the histogram depends on the distance between the MACD line and the signal line. As you can see, if the two lines are further apart, the histogram gets bigger. And if the two lines get closer, the histogram becomes smaller. Lastly, there is the zero line, serving as the center of the MACD indicator. Traders use this indicator to spot momentum by looking at the crossover between the MACD line and the signal line. Let me show you an example. If the MACD line crosses above the signal line, it indicates that the market is on an upward momentum. And if it crosses below, it indicates that the market is on a downwards momentum. Traders can assess the momentum strength by observing the histogram size. If a MACD crosses above the signal line while the histogram is getting larger, it indicates a strengthening upwards momentum. Similarly, a histogram getting smaller in size tells us about a weakening upwards momentum. We now know that the MACD relies on moving averages, so why choose the MACD over the moving average? Well, let me give you a quick comparison. So here we have the MACD set to default settings 12 and 26, and over here we have two exponential moving averages also set as 12 and 26. Notice the correlation between two indicators. Whenever there is a crossover on the moving averages, a corresponding crossover occurs on the MACD, but it's between the MACD line and zero line. However, it's a crucial note that our focus is the MACD is not on the zero line, but on the crossover between the MACD line and the signal line. And so, as you can see, the crossover on the MACD gave a much earlier entry signal compared to the crossover on the moving average. That's why it's better to use it as a momentum indicator. Now let's talk about various strategies that you can use with the MACD indicator. Initially, a common mistake among traders is relying solely on the indicator. Let me show you why using the MACD alone is not a good idea. Here we can see the overall market in a downtrend. Nonetheless, the MACD shows an upward crossover. Just look at those conflicting signals. The MACD suggests that it's a bullish momentum, yet the market is on a downtrend. This underscores the reason why relying solely on the MACD is not advisable. The MACD primarily reveals short-term momentum, and as traders, it's crucial to consider the long-term trend to avoid trading against it. Straightforward yet highly effective strategy I suggest for beginners involvers pairing the MACD with a long-term trend indicator, such as the 100 EMA. This approach allows us to use the MACD for trading while ensuring alignment with the prevailing long-term trend direction. Here's how you implement this strategy. First, you want to identify the long-term trend by looking at the 100 EMA. If the price is above the 100 EMA, it indicates that the long-term trend is up, and if the price is below the 100 EMA, it indicates that the long-term trend is down. As soon as you identify the trend, the next move is to search for MACD crossovers aligned with the long-term trend signal. In this specific instance, we can see an upward long-term trend indicates that we exclusively act on signals when the MACD crosses over upwards. This is the point where you initiate a long position. Then for your exit strategy, position your stop loss at the closest swing low and establish your profit target at 1.5 times the stop loss. And as you see, this trade resulted in a profit. Now let's look at another example. In this chart, the price is below the 100 EMA, indicating that the long-term trend is down. Next, we have a cross down on the MACD, and so this will be our entry signal to go short. Now for your stop loss, place it above the nearest swing high and set your profit target at 1.5 times your stop loss. And as you can see, the price reaches our profit target, marking this as a successful trade. So that was a simple MACD strategy for beginners that you can see. Now for advanced traders, if you want to get more profits using the MACD, you cannot simply rely on beginner crossover techniques, because remember, crossovers tend to work only on trading markets. If the market is in a range like this, the indicator will give you many false signals. To enhance your win rate, I suggest trying out a more advanced approach by combining the MACD with price action. So here's how the strategy works. The first step is we need to choose a time frame. I will be using the 4-hour time frame. The next thing you need to do is identify a key level within this time frame. As you can see, the price went up, hit, and reverses downwards, and so we can draw a resistance line up here. The next step is you want to wait for the price to approach the same key level once again. Now once this happens, we are expecting the price to reverse downwards. However, just because the price gets in contact with the key level doesn't assure a reversal, as these levels aren't magical. Prices can break through. That's why additional confirmation is vital to ensure genuine downward momentum when the price touches this area, and this is where the MACD indicator plays its role. Typically, many traders will wait for the MACD to cross downward before initiating a short position. However, this approach often results in entering the trade after the downward moment has already occurred, meaning that you would have entered in late. To secure an earlier entry signal, we are gonna use a secret trick, which is zooming in 2 time frames below. I'm currently in the 4-hour chart, so let's zoom into the 2-hour chart. In this smaller time frame, we patiently anticipate the MACD to initiate a downward crossover, indicating an optional entry point for a short position. So now let's go back to the 4-hour chart and compare the 2 entry signals. Here, we are back at the 4-hour time frame. And notice that if you would have used the crossover from the 2-hour time frame, the trade entry would have been here. But if you would have used the crossover from the 4-hour time frame, I would have been here. And despite the fact that both trades ended up being profitable, the smaller time frame crossover still gave us an earlier entry signal. Let's take a look at the strategy one more time. So here's the pound yen on the 2-hour time frame, and over the left we can see that prices went down, hit, and reverses upwards, making this a key support level. Now, as prices went back to this level again, we want to confirm that there's actual upwards momentum as the price touches this area. So again, you want to zoom in 2 time frames below and apply the MACD indicators. So now all that's left is to use the MACD to confirm the bullish momentum, simply by waiting for it to cross over upwards. As soon as this happens, you take a long position. Now let's get back to the 2-hour time frame and use our exit strategy. So for our stop loss, you can place it at the key level and set your profit target at 1.5 times your stop loss. And as you can see, this trade ended up being profitable. So I just shared how Winrate MACD strategies that you can now simply apply for your everyday trades. And before we move on to trading, just do 2 clicks, like and subscribe. And for free trade signals, you can join to my Telegram group. For our first strategy, we will need to add a MACD indicator and a moving average line. Let's add the MACD indicator, and to do this, click here and select the MACD indicator. Make the bottom window wider to be more visible. The settings will remain standard. I will only change the width of the line to be more visible. Close and add the moving average indicator, set the period 100 and slightly increase the thickness of the line. Now we need to wait for a trade. This is the intersection of the moving average and the MACD indicator. This is exactly what is happening now. The moving average is moving down and we see the intersection of the green and red line. Expiration time 3 minutes and time frame 1 minute. As we can see on the left side on the charts, we have a support line. It is a support line that the line breaks through. If the line breaks through the support chart, we are guaranteed to be in profit. As you can see, the support line is breaking through. Okay, the trade is closed and we take our profit. As you can see, I have only 10 charts open at the top. You can add more, but I do not recommend it because the more number of charts is difficult to follow and you can miss a lot of entries. Deal. So therefore, a maximum of 10 is enough. Okay, a good moment. The green line crosses the red line and you can open a trade again on the upside. You see the green line crossing the red line. Let's change the time frame to 5 seconds. We just have a support line, or rather a resistance line, which the price easily breaks through. This indicates that a small pullback is possible and the price will rise again. This is exactly what is happening. And here is the continuation of the impulse itself. The time is coming to an end and we have no preconditions for a loss. Okay, the trade loses and profit again, and here is our trade on this strategy. As you can see, we have one short and two longs. All three trades gave us profit. For trading on this strategy, we need a time frame of 2 minutes and again the indicator MACD, and little increase the thickness of the line. For clarity of settings, we leave the standard, and here we close the window and slightly increase the chart time frame 2 minutes. Now we need to draw support and resistance lines on each chart. It is very easy to build them. Just choose the highs and lows that everyone can see. The more obvious they are, the more likely the price can react. Let's do this with all the charts. Let's move to 1 minute and look for the entry point on it. I remind you that the entry point will be at the crossing on the average MACD indicator. Here we have an interesting moment. We had a false breakdown of the support line, and if now the indicator shows us the crossover of the moving average, this is the green one will cross the red one. Then we can open a deal on the rise. So let's wait. Crossover has already almost happened. If the green closes now, we will open a trade on the upside. Expiration time is 3 minutes, so the trade is open. Time is coming to an end, but we have a good momentum, so the trade is likely to close profitably here. If the price comes to the upper boundary and the indicator has a moving average crossover at the bottom, we can open the deal on the downside. So the trade is closed again in profit. Now we just switch the time frame to 1 minute and wait for our entry point again. If the price goes up here now and the green line crosses the red line, we will open an uptrend. So here we go again on our chart. The green line is already creeping up to the red line, so waiting for the crossover. The crossover is there. We open a deal on an upside, a little bit late, but it's nothing bad. Let's change the time frame. We can see that the price is hitting the level and maybe we can get a loss here, so let's see. There's only a little bit of time left. We would get our profit here if we had got it on time, and this time we got lucky and the price went up at the last moment and we closed the trade profitably here. The result of our trade, as you can see, you can trade well in this strategy if you follow all of the rules. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and bye!